So Salesforce is a CRM system where we store the information of the customer and all the activities with the customer. So what can be the activities of the customer, the deals which are going on with the customer, right? Then basically this customer might have his employees. Yeah, customer can be companies, right? Because we are mainly focusing on B2B sales, that is a company selling to another company. The customer is a company and there are employees of that company which are contacts. Customer is account, deals are opportunities. Then we have talked about storing all our products which we are trying to sell. When we are saying we are the sellers, right? You as an admin would be working on behalf of the seller, right? Because seller is the person who has purchased Salesforce. So he's paying for you, or he's giving you the access. He's paying for your license. Okay, so seller is also a company which has some products, which is also we are storing in Salesforce, right? So after that, what we saw that there is this whole space of Salesforce, and there are many tables on which we store data. This data is authorized or bifurcated based on security, who sees what, right? Same tables, but data can be seen differently by different people. That is bias security. We also saw how to bypass security using sharing. That means if you want to give some exceptional privileges to some people for some records, you can also do that, right? We covered these all. So far, any confusion or any questions in this sessions till now? Guys, no question? Oh, good. So now today what we are going to see, we are going to see analytics. Analytics means we are putting a lot of data, right, into the system. Now, how can we see this data differently? Because data is information. And particularly for the steering committee or the big leadership like CEO or executive VPs, they are company bosses, they run the company. So they have to look at these data and they have to take many decisions. What is going wrong, how to improve the company sales and so on, right? How to enable that? How can I make sure that I make sure that whatever data that has been input, can I bring data from 2 or 3 tables together and see all put together? Can I summarize that data? Can I make some calculations of that data? That is how we can come up with meaningful data analytics. That means I can look at that data and take decisions. But looking at the data, just by how can we look into the data? In Salesforce, we have a list view. Every tab has a list view wherein you can see all the records that is there in the tab, right? But that is not enough. We should look at the data, maybe the opportunity, right? There can be different categories of opportunity. Some opportunities are in advanced stage, some opportunity has just started, some opportunity is already closed, right? And there can be separate amounts for these. So can I look at and say, can I categorize, like how many of them got closed? What is the amount of data I have closed this month? What is the amount is still I have a chance to convert? What is the amount of data I can possibly not convert? This is in a very early stage. Maybe next month it will be possible. These are the decisions which would be critical for a CEO or maybe even salesperson also. If the salesperson is looking it in his own work, he also needs a report or he also needs an analytics to take his decisions. So Salesforce provides 2 things called report and dashboard. Report, we already know this term very well, right? Report is how do I look at a data? How can I summarize the data? How can I make decisions? How can I make a tabular representation of a data, right? And it can join 2 or 3 tables. It's not only one table data that is possible. In Salesforce, we can create a report using three objects together, okay? And what is a dashboard? Dashboard, have you ever heard about dashboard in real life? Forget Salesforce. Anybody has heard the term dashboard before? Anybody has a car or a bike? Nobody? So if you have a car, or you have sat in the first row of a car, this is the steering, right? And if you see here, there are many things. There is like speedometer is there. Then you will see how much oil is there, right? What is the RPM in which the car is functioning? Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Or if you're in a bike also, you will see a small speedometer here, right?
Yes, sir.
Then you will see your fuel tank, everything. Why is this required? What is the use of this one? Is it beautification, or this has a real value? What will happen if you don't have sales dashboard? Think about a car which does not have this. What will happen?
So to check the performance, whether like how much.
Yeah. You will be running a car, or you will scooty, or you are running a bike with no information at you, so you cannot take any decisions. Have you crossed the speed limit? You do not know. Is it possible that your fuel tank is already empty, and in next 5 kilometers your car will stop? You're running your car blindly almost, right? So this is the benefit of a dashboard. In car, this is called a dashboard. In bike also, it is called a dashboard. Dashboard is a pictorial representation of your data, which makes your decision making very easy. Okay, same goes with Salesforce. If you have a lot of data, a CEO or a company executive boss, he does not have to go through pages of reports to take decisions. Right? He has to just look at the data, immediately take a decision. And they're in this kind of a like components are very helpful, which shows him that okay, speed limit is already over, fuel tank is almost near completion. I can immediately see and understand what is going wrong or where I can improve. Right? Similar goes with dashboard. So let's look at reports and dashboards. So we'll start with reports. In Salesforce, we have 4 kinds of reports. The first is tabular. Tabular means just a table form. Nothing else. There are rows and there are columns. This table report can be pulled from 3 objects maximum. Yes, 1 object, 2 object, or 3 objects. At max 3 objects. Tabular report, just a table with rows and columns. Rows will be coming from different tables, and columns will be fields. Right? Simple. Second format is summary. Summary means if I group any of the column, group, how can I, what do you mean by group? Group means if the value of this column in each row kind of repeats, we'll see that in details. If it is a repeat value like V1, V2, again V1 here, again V1 here. So what we can happen is that I can group the data, say that let's calculate, or let's add up all the rows which has this value as V1, and you can add up a different row which you can be, there can be arithmetic calculation possible on that row. So what you can do an average, mean, max, and sum. These calculations you can do. We'll see that. So if you group by a column and group it on rows, That becomes a summary. If you have multiple columns you group, that still remains summary. If it is group by rows, what if I do a group by row and group by column? Then that becomes a matrix. That means here in summary report, you will see a subtotal and a grand total. In group by matrix, here also you will see a subtotal and a grand total. Okay, how that is done, we'll see that in details. And fourth is joint reports. Something which we will not cover in this class. Joint reports is just two reports put together with a similar kind of data that can join it. Okay, so let's see and jump into reports. Reports and dashboards can be created by system admins and can be created by normal users also. Okay, that is why it is not under setup, it is outside. It is just as a tab outside, because setup is only for admins, right? But this can be used by admins as well as normal users, so it is outside. This is a report tab, and you can create a new report from this. Before we go into any report, you can create report on standard objects. Of course, that is already created. You can also create your reports on custom objects. If you create a custom object, let's see a custom object. This org does not have a custom object. Let's create a custom object. When you create a custom object, by default, this is not checked. So you have to tick this. If you do not tick this, you will not be able to create a report on this object. Okay, let's see that. If I go and create a report and search for application, I don't find anything, right? But if I go there and edit this and tick this one, then go to application, then I see the application. This is the report tab. I can choose a report. I can create a report on top of that. So it is very important that you tick that, because in custom object by default report is not enough. Okay, please remember this. So now let's create a new report. Let's use the standard objects. We already have diverse report types, which is already created for us. But let's see a simple report for opportunities. I have selected an opportunity. This report is, I have just selected a report type. I have still not created a report. Please remember that right now you are ready to create a new report. And so when I save, at that point, it will ask me what is the report. So I can say my opportunities. And I can create a private report. This folder is very important. It works similar to Google Docs folder. In Google Docs, what happens? If you have a folder, you can share that folder and all the files inside that folder will be visible to you. Similarly, reports also. This is a private report folder. This is only private for you. Nobody else can see. This report is only applicable for you. You can only see and use this report. But if you want to create report, particularly like system admins, they will create report for everybody. So then you have to select a folder, and that has to be a public report. Select a public report and make it a public report. Then only this report will be available for other people to use. Please remember, even if the report is available for everybody, people who will run the report, the results which they will see, that will be based on what sharing and access of records which they have. So two people will see different data from the same report based on what they can see using the security and sharing. So security and sharing is applicable, what we learned in last session on reports. Okay. So now you see the by default some columns are already there. I don't see any data because let's go and change the filter. All report this fiscal year close date, it is by default. I will make it all time. Any opportunity, any probability, and I will save and run. Now see the report is firing and it is populating results data. I can remove column from here. This is a running report, but I can also do that in the edit screen, which is the report builder screen. This is the report builder screen. You can remove this from here also, no problem. So let's see, fiscal period is not required. So remove the column from here. You can even remove this from here also. Age is not required. Remove it. Okay. So save and run. Again, I can go back and I am running this report. So I can go, total records is showing up. And this is a tabular report, the first form of report. It's simple table, right? And the opportunity owner is also not required. Just let's remove this. Let's keep it simple. Let's remove these things. Okay. So close date not required. Let's remove this. Created date not required. Remove this. Okay. So let's. So we are making a report cleaner, and this is just a tabular table format report. Apologies for the noise. So this is how a normal report you can create. Please remember that in a tabular report you cannot create a chart. What is a chart? We'll come to that. But this is the first form of report, which is basically a tabular report, just fetching data with different filters. This is quite similar to how a account this list view works, right? Quite similar, right? You can create your own list view here also with putting a filter, right? Same. Quite similar. This report also works by the same way, you see. But the only difference is that this report can pull data from not only one object, it can pull from 2 objects and 3 objects maximum. So that is a difference. So let's see how this report can be a little different. So if I go to another report, let's create another report. Let's create first. Let's complete this, and we'll go to other forms. Okay. So now, a very important part here is that how can I now convert or create a summary report out of my tabular report? So first, basic is a tabular report, which is a table form report, right? Which is very essential. And I think I did not save it. That is why it is still keeping. So opportunity owner, I will remove from here. Close date not required, created date not required. Next step, next step, next step. So save and run. I see the report. There are 2 ways of doing it. I can go, so you see this value, this stage is repeating, right? Close 1, these opportunities are in closed 1, these opportunities are in closed 1. I can also see a probability. This is also is a good example. Type is a good example, right? This is the repeating value, right? Type. So why not group this via type? Group rows by this field. If I do this, you see, this report is now grouped by type. So I am subtotaling based on this value, this type value. How many type values are there? See 1 to 3, and this is blank. So 4 types of values are there. So it has grouped all these, and I also grouped which opportunity belong to this. And I can just remove these. It makes it very simple for me to look at. Right? I can do the same from my edit screen also. If you see, I can add the type back. So I can do a group here also, right? Or I can go to here and group by here also. There are many ways of doing it. So if I do that, save and run, it is actually the same, no difference. Yeah. But this is not the important part. The important part is that I have grouped. This is giving me a count of this kind of opportunity. So opportunity wherein type is this. How many of them are there? So record 13 records are there, 1 record are there. 1 record is there, 5 record is there. So group counting, it is giving me a group count. That is not good enough. I want to understand how much amount all this will add up to with this type. Let's see, like replacement customer, how much opportunity value is total? Then basically existing customer, what is the total opportunity? Can I add this whole row? I can. So what I have to do, I have to go this hash sign will show up that this you can do calculation from this column. If you click this, it will show up what you can do. I can do a sum, average, min, max. So I can do, let's see, do an average and save and run. So now what it shows that if I do remove this detail row, it is now showing me different opportunity. What is the average amount that is there for each type values of opportunities? I can have a subtotal, I can have a grand total, and I can also see individual records in total details. Individual details and totals. Okay. Apologies for the noise again. So this is basically a summary report. Okay. I always remove the details, so it makes it easy for us to understand. You can remove the record count also if you want. So just a total amount. If record count is meaningless for you, yeah, but you can keep it. If the grand total is not meaningful for you, you can remove it. Right? So that's it. So the good part is that you can add a chart now on this. There are different kinds of charts. Chart is a graphical representation of this data, right? So it is just showing up in a bar chart. You can choose your type of chart, like column chart, line chart, donut chart. This is my favorite. Yeah. Funnel chart. Based on this, you can show percentages also if you want. Something of that sort. Let's keep it this way. So charting you can upload. So this is a quick representation, visual representation of the values, right? You can just click on this, it will like filter it out, the values, right? Okay, remove the chart for now. So what we have seen so far is a grouping of column and calculation on another column. So you see, I have grouped by type and I have calculated on amount. I can also calculate on another column. It doesn't matter. You can have two values. Average amount also you can have, and sum of expected amount also you can have. So it does not stop you to like calculate on two columns. Any numeric field on which you can do calculation, you can go ahead and do that. Yeah. So I am now calculating on two columns, right, with the same type. I can even have a subgrouping possible. So let's see if I have what, maybe stage. add a stage. Yeah, and a column is missing, so I have to add a stage. Save and run. So it is still a summary report because I am grouping based on rows. I did not use that. Sorry about it. Okay, type is there, stage is also there. Save and run. Now you see it is a double grouping. Type is outside. Inside it, I have also done another grouping. Let's remove the detailed rows. It will be easier for us to understand. So now I have done two column groupings, but this is still a summary report. I have not done a subtotaling based on columns. I am still doing a subtotaling based on rows, but I am grouping with multiple columns. Okay. Now let's change this and see if I can remove the stage from here and group by stage here. What happens here? Instead of grouping by rows, I choose it here. You see now? So type is listed here. Stage is listed here. These are all the different stage values. Type values are here. Stage values are on the columns. And I am doing exactly the same. Average sum of expected and record count. Let's clean this up a little. Record count I removed. Okay, so this is now the new format of the report, wherein I am doing both the row grouping, column grouping. If I am clicking on this one, I am seeing the details here. If I'm clicking on this one, I'm seeing the details here. Right? This table is called a matrix report, which is grouped by rows and grouped by columns also. Okay, please note that group by column is not possible without grouping by rows. You cannot directly go and group by columns. So this is a matrix report. So basic was tabular, then I went into summary, and now I have group by columns and made it a matrix report. Any questions so far?
No.
Good. Now this report is live. As I said that this report I have saved in public folder. Anybody can go to reports now and find this report. They can click it and they can run the report, right? And this will run for them. Okay. Now the problem is that this report will show different values for different logged in user based on what record access they have. Got it? Maybe it is showing the based on the filters and the record access, whatever record data or the calculation will happen based on the record he can see. He cannot see records which he does not have authority to see. He cannot pull that in reports also. So reports will abide by the sharing and security, data security, which has been, or record level security, which we have implemented. Okay, very critical for them to realize. Another part is that sometimes there are like very important people who don't have time to log into Salesforce to see this report running, particularly the senior bosses. But they need that report to start the day. What is very easy to send them via email. So what I do is that I subscribe. And I can send that mail daily, weekly, or monthly based on my. So every time I do that, I edit the recipients whom I want to send. And see, this is called run report as. What does that mean? There is a me and another user. Somebody want to give a try? What are these two? How will that be different? And why is this is needed? So report, which is sent in the morning to everybody in 9 a.m., that report has to be first run, the data has to be collected, and then that has to be sent. It's just like taking a screenshot of that report, right? But whose data will I run, right? Everybody can see different data, right? That is what we talked. Report is live. Report is live data. Everybody, any logged in user will see only authorized data which he has. But when I'm sending an email, I have to tell that run this report like this guy, take this data and send it to everybody. So you need a person who is a logged in user, whose report you will send to everybody, right? So that is what this me is. Me is the person who is logged in, or I can choose a different person.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Okay. So please remember, when I do this, this becomes a static because this becomes a screenshot of the report. This is not changeable. This data is not live. This is captured data and this is sent over mail. If I send it over mail, the benefit is that I do not need it. This guy does not need to log into Salesforce. All the people who I send this mail can see that in their mailbox. That is a great thing. Usually reports is very much needed for steering committee people or even the sales agents also. If in the morning they come and get all the data in their mailbox, it becomes very easy for them to work, right? They don't have to run the report, get all the values and stuff. So far, so good. Any problem?
No, sir.
Good. So we saw the report, which is a dynamic thing, which will fetch different data for different people, logged in people. But when I am sending via mail, I need a running user so that that person's report is sent to everybody. Clear? Report is converted. Now let's see dashboard. What we looked at a car dashboard, right? It's similar to this. This dashboard is again the analytical viewpoint which has components. Again, I will see it as my dashboard. I can do a private dashboard which is just applicable for me, or I can select a new folder and I can say that public dashboard, something of this sort. So I now create a dashboard, my dashboard, and I have components which I can add. Okay. Dashboard components would be basically the charts of the reports which I have created. Which report I have created? My opportunity report I have created, right? Select that. I can use the chart which I put on that report, or I can put my own. I can start another chart here also. So let's see. So you see, now this report becomes this one. I can add multiple views for the same report. Or I can have different report also on the same dashboard. If I have two reports, I can have another chart for another report. It's similar to becoming a dashboard for everybody, right? Now it looks like a car dashboard, right? Save it. And done. You see, now this is how a dashboard looks like. You can add this dashboard on your home page also, if you want. That is the benefit. You log in and that becomes your dashboard. You see, let's see that. If you go to that edit page, and you see this is a dashboard component. Yeah. Instead of this quarterly performance, I remove this and I add a dashboard here. Yeah, you see my dashboard is already here. And I save this. Activate. Assign as of default. See, this dashboard has now come on my home page. I can create multiple dashboard. I can have different homepage for my different applications. So dashboard is very interesting. So when you log into the application, immediately see how the data is looking like, right? So dashboard gives a pictorial representation of the different status, which can easily make you take a decision very quickly. You look at data and you can change it. And but behind the scene, a dashboard would need a report. Now, dashboard by default is static. This is a when you create a dashboard, make it public. Everybody who is logging in to now they will see the same data. It does not matter if this data is they have access to that data or not. When they click on this report, they will see only their data. But this dashboard data will be the data of the dashboard creator. Whatever is the dashboard I created, that data will be available to everybody. So this is like a snapshot already, right? It is static. Dashboard by default is static. Report by default is dynamic. And report only becomes static when you send a mail. Dashboard by default is static. So you can directly subscribe also. And you see, if you subscribe, you don't have a running user, right? It's not needed because dashboard is already static. It can also be sent to mail. So the same view everybody will see. If they log into application, then they run the dashboard. This is the same view everybody will see. And they will be viewing as Animesh Banerjee because I am the creator of the dashboard. Yeah. If there is a data which is changing, I have to do a refresh and then some new data I have loaded, then it will change the data, then it will refresh. Yeah. But it will refresh only if I have access. That means the dashboard creator has access to that data. Otherwise, it will not work. Clear? But I can make this dashboard dynamic also. I can make that. Can I make these changes applicable for the data only the logged in user can view? Of course, I can do that. I can go to edit. Here, view dashboard as, you see, I can create when the dashboard creator by default is me. It is created always by me, but I can create dashboard and show everybody the data which is applicable for somebody else. I can show somebody else's data to everybody. But these two both are static options, but I can make it dynamic. If I say a dashboard viewer, if I make a dashboard viewer and save it, then what happens? Then every logged in user will see his own data. That becomes dynamic. So when he will run the report, he will see his name here. And this data will filter out based on whatever accesses he has. And this cannot be sent over mail. No subscribe option. Because this has become a dynamic dashboard. When it is a dynamic dashboard, I cannot subscribe. It is only my personal data. Logged in users' personal data. I can also make people change this so that they can see somebody else's data also by doing an edit and allowing this. Let dashboard viewer choose whom they want to view as. If I both are static dashboard, but here I am giving some additional privileges. I am allowing them logged in user to change the view from him to somebody else. That this is becoming a dashboard, dynamic dashboard. Dynamic dashboard cannot be sent over mail. Any questions, guys, till now?
No, sir.
So it was a sweet and easy session. From next session onwards, it will be quite complicated and stuff. So please be prepared and please complete the trails so that you can understand the next sections. And please do hands-on whatever I have shown. Reports and dashboard, everything. Quite easy, right? Till now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. So we'll close the session today. Please practice, go through everything. Now the real Salesforce will begin from the next week onwards. Okay. Here, what we will see how do we change Salesforce. What is process automation? How can I make Salesforce changes so that it is specific to the seller's business? Yeah. How to do things without doing any programming. Very powerful stuff which is coming. Okay. So get ready for that. But I will keep the session today nice and simple.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a nice
Thank
week.
you.
Bye
Yeah,
bye.
Ramesh, are you closing the session because we have another session?
Yeah, no, I am not closing the session.